In my last video, I talked about the cult of personality. I also talked about a channel that has been taken down by YouTube, High Impact Flix. I want to highlight and expose more about the cult of personality, and I'm going to show you a full video from the now non-existent channel High Impact Flix. I downloaded this video about the cult of personality a while ago because I liked it so much. It seems like a great opportunity to get this content back on YouTube so more people can be exposed to independent thought. Please go visit the new channel of High Impact Flix. A link is in the description. It is High Impact Vlogs now. Support his thought-provoking channel and enjoy this video he created.
In regard to politics in general and politicians in specific, they know they're lying to us. We know they're lying to us. They know that we know they're lying to us, and they just keep on lying, and somehow we just keep on believing them. If you want to take guns out of the hands of evil people, maybe we should start with taking them out of the hands of government agents. If you guys enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and share it with everybody you know.
Remember the 80s band Living Colour? They had a hit single entitled Cult of Personality that went something like this.
Like Mussolini and Kennedy, I'm the cult of personality.
There's a lot of truth in that song. One line says, I sell the things you need to be. I'm the smiling face on your TV. I'm the cult of personality. I exploit you, still you love me. I tell you 1 and 1 makes 3. I'm the cult of personality. Basically, people follow others even though they promote the most ridiculous falsehoods. It's so damn easy to be the unwitting, paying member of the cult of personality. Cult members become enamored at the way a person speaks, or the music he sings, or the way she looks, or the power they hold, or the money they have. There are a plethora of reasons people bow down, turn off their minds, and submit to others. Entertainers, athletes, and unbelievably politicians become the leaders of the church the cult members routinely attend. One of the telltale signs that reveals you're a member of this cult is when, in the face of logical inconsistencies, utter hypocrisy, and even gross immorality, you continue to stand by your cult leader as you make excuse after excuse for him or her in an effort to rationalize your own misguided devotion and simultaneously depart from truth and wisdom. How is it even possible that someone could follow an individual rights trampling Barack Obama, or an obviously evil psychopath like Hillary Clinton, or a rapist like Bill, or clearly insane people like mindless Maxine Waters, funny farm candidate Nazi Pelosi, or freedom-grabbing Diane Frankenstein? 2 words: cognitive dissonance. That mental discomfort experienced by a person who simultaneously holds 2 or more contradictory beliefs, ideas, or values. They see the facts, they see that the person they're following doesn't line up with the facts, logic, or basic human love and compassion, but they continue to cling to the personality and almost instantly abandon facts, reason, and logic. No one, and I mean no one, should be so glorified and elevated in your life that you have to let go of truth in order to defend them. Truth has never let you down and never will. So it seems reasonable to be loyal to it and to it alone. The only cult you should be a member of is the cult of truth, love, logic, and simple, unadulterated facts. Justice consists not in being neutral between right and wrong, but in finding out the right and upholding it wherever it's found and standing against the wrong, even if everyone stands against you in the process. It's within that framework of thought that I present to you the idea that people keep trying to convince me of, that Trump is different from all those who preceded him. They say he's not a politician, he's a smart outsider who plans to unseat the powers that be. He's, quote, playing 4D chess, they say, in order to, quote, confuse and confound the deep state. I mean, I've met Trump supporters who follow him as fervently and blindly as any glazed-over Hillary worshiper. Two of the main promoters of this 4D chess idea are Alex Jones and Ted Nugent. Somehow we live in a time where if you legitimately criticize someone that another person has exalted in their own minds, you've become an enemy of truth itself. Now, I don't personally frequent Jones's channel, and I disagree with a lot of what he says, but I still think he has a lot to offer. I've seen many times where he breaks the news and is able to sniff out mainstream BS. Others call him COINTELPRO and they make some valid sounding arguments, but my point here is that if you hold truth as the apple of your eye and look at everything and everyone through the lenses of truth, or at least with the mindset of getting to the bottom of truth, it doesn't matter who you listen to. The question is, what are you going to buy into? If it's truth alone, your devotion won't rest on the shifting sands of some personality. And the same goes with Ted Nugent. I personally find the guy to be likable, intelligent, articulate, and entertaining. At his age, he's got the energy and spunk that would put most young men to shame. But whether somebody's likable or not should not interrupt or paralyze your ability to see clearly through his or anybody's ideological and hypocritical inconsistencies. Principles should always take precedence over personality. Always. When Nugent put his endorsement, which basically is his reputation, behind political puppet Mitt Romney back in 2012, it was easy to see that statism has him right where it wants him. As he speaks about freedom and individual rights, he's really a mouthpiece for statism. Now, he wholeheartedly backs Trump and makes those same excuses that I spoke about earlier in order to justify the exact same inconsistencies and gross hypocrisies he would have lambasted Hillary or Obama for. They didn't get any slack, but Trump does. Before we listen to Nugent, let me remind you what Trump has publicly proposed in regard to taking away freedoms and infringing on the rights of innocent people. But as a framework for the context of the Trump meeting, here's Congressman Ted, I'll say anything to make people like me Deutsch.
The majority of people in this country now understand that there are limitations on the Second Amendment.
This guy obviously doesn't want to understand what shall not be infringed means. Now for Trump.
We have to do something about the mentally ill not being able to buy a gun. I mean, they have so many checks and balances that you could be mentally ill and it takes you 6 months before you can prohibit it. So we have to do something very decisive. Number one, you can take the guns away immediately from people that you can adjudge easily are mentally ill, like this guy. You know, the police saw that he was a problem. They didn't take any guns away. Now, that could have been policing. I think they should have taken them away anyway, whether they had the right or not.
I think any sane person would agree that police taking guns away, whether they have the right to or not, is clearly a disregard for individual rights.
And so just doing something on this background check issue and using that as a base, and then I would like to add some of these other things we've talked about, I think would make a major difference.
So if you could add that to this bill, that would be great, Diane. If you could add what you have also, and I think you can, into the bill.
So Joe, are you ready?
Can you do that? Joe, can you do that? Pat, can you add some of the things? You're not going to agree with me.
Yeah, if you help.
Well, no, I'll help, but can you add what Amy and what Diane have? Can we add them in? And I know you can add what John has. I don't think the states have to be the same. What does have to be the same are the background checks and all of the data, whether it's fixed NICS or all of the things that we're going to be adding. That has to be very much the same.
Now right here, Trump is advocating a one-size-fits-all, universal, federally mandated and enforced background check, which on its face rejects the 10th Amendment and the Second Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Remember, the Bill of Rights was about limiting the power of the federal government, not enhancing it. Its intent was to give power to the people, not a federal bureaucracy.
Allow due process so that no one's rights are trampled, but the ability to go to court, obtain an order, and then collect not only the firearms, but any weapons in the possession
or
of that
might
individual.
take the firearms first and then go to court, because that's another system. Because a lot of times by the time you go to court, it takes so long to go to court to get the due process procedures. I like taking the guns early, like in this crazy man's case that just took place in Florida. He had a lot of firearms. They saw everything. to go to court would have taken a long time. So you could do exactly what you're saying, but take the guns first, go through due process second.
No matter how you slice it, that individual rights trampling language speaks for itself. Now let's hear Ted Nugent defend the Trump personality over the principle of individual rights.
And I know how he operates. There's a term, and I'll give it to you, and you can beep it whatever you want. But what drives the American dream and quality of life are kickers. People who bust their ass to be in the asset column, make sacrifices and take risks, entrepreneurs, welders and carpenters, and hard-working ranchers and farmers, and guitar players, and people that know they have to be productive. What makes America great every day, always has, always will. But a lot of our side will get angry the minute you even give a nod to the other side, and you have to give a nod to the other side, so it encourages them to speak up, to expose their dishonesty and their horrible agenda. President Trump is the ultimate kicker.
This interview with Nugent and his wife was after Trump's Second Amendment bashing meeting. Basically, Nugent is saying that by Trump saying things like, we need to take guns first and worry about due process later, and when Trump talks about implementing a broad spectrum, centralized federal background check registry, never mind the Second and 10th Amendments, he's just given a nod to the other side so they can expose their dishonesty and their horrible agenda. There's only one small problem with this. Their dishonesty and horrible agenda has already been exposed. In fact, it couldn't be more exposed. So this is nonsense.
He is a strategist. You can't build an empire like that if you don't meet with all concerns.
Building an empire is not what America is all about. And Alex Jones, who's giving the interview here, should have called Ted Nugent out on this, but he didn't. And you can't minimize errors like this. Empires rest on the violence and conquest of others in order to build and expand. This isn't supposed to be the American empire. It's supposed to be about a group of individuals who are freed from the shackles of government to do whatever they want and to govern themselves so long as they don't harm others. It's not about building an empire. Now, we need to be armed and ready for an attack by another empire, but we're not supposed to be like the empires of history, who initiated unjust force on peaceful people so they could advance their kingdom.
And get them comfortable and get them to believe that you are listening to their points of view, no matter how absurd it is, so it knocks down their guard.
Again, their guard was knocked down a long time ago. They don't even hide their gun-grabbing agendas. They've been out in the open with it for a long time. So this argument by Nugent is invalid.
So when Trump meets with the other side, it is the perfect strategy. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. Watch what he does. I think that his America Great, and remember, in every one of his speeches, every one of his campaign stops, he mentioned the Second Amendment. When was the last guy running for office that did that often? Never before.
If all it takes to throw people off the trail and shut down critical thinking is for someone to come along and just mention the Second Amendment, we're more sheep-like than I suspected.
I believe, now anything can happen. I'm incapable of being shocked by anything anymore, but I pay attention and I trust President Trump.
Guys, Nugent is an influential guy. He's a smart guy. But by his own admission, he places his loyalty and trust in a person and has unwittingly let go of principle. He's made it obvious from this statement that he too is a member of the cult of personality. And that's why we're in the mess we're in today. That's why Democrats and those who are liberally minded have become so insane that they can't even speak rationally anymore. And if it wasn't obvious enough that Ted Nugent and Alex Jones were caught in the cult of personality, listen to this.
This guy is a clever strategist. President Donald Trump will go down in history as the best president this country has ever had. Support him.
The greatest president? Up to this point, among other things, Trump supports the failed drug war, civil asset forfeiture by law enforcement, furthering wars abroad that we can't afford to wage, launching missiles on foreign lands, carving out more taxpayer money for the military-industrial complex, and now he supports legislation that will raise the gun-buying age to 21, take firearms without due process, and further agendas like those proposed by wicked Dianne Frankenstein.
Take the firearms first and then go to court. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
Let the world and the Google Thought Police know what you think about this in the comment section below. Is Trump really playing 4D, triple-decker, double blindfolded underwater backgammon as he plays the deep state like a fiddle? Or is he, as we've seen before, just another statist who's increasing the powers of the federal government while removing the rights of peaceful people? Before you go, check out one of the most in-your-face, hard-hitting, conversation-starting shirt stores on the planet. By wearing one of these shirts, hoodies, or cutoffs, and without saying a word, you can let people know that fast food is killing them with the McDats Eat Fast, Die Young shirt or Pepsi Live for Now. Inform the sleeping masses that fluoride is dumbing them down, that Google is a gulag-style censorship machine, that the Department of Homeland Security is merely security theater, that the NSA makes your private life their business, that the Grim Reaper supports everyone's troops, that we need to legalize freedom, that in life there are no excuses, that CNN is a communist news network, voting is the suggestion box of slaves, that 9/11 was a lie and that all official stories should be questioned, and let people know we're in the middle of a full-blown sheep-volution. Taxation is theft, the IRS is an immoral robbery service, cops like protecting and serving the crap out of you, and that this is not a gun-free zone, and gun-free zones are the most dangerous places on the planet. Your purchase supports more content on my demonetized, heavily censored, and of course, advertiser-unfriendly channel. As of the recording of this video, I have over 64 designs, and I'm adding new ones every week, so check back often. Thanks for watching my content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Thanks again for checking out Questionable Authority. Don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with all your family and friends. If you haven't subscribed already, do it now and click the bell so you get notified of new content. Know your rights. Knowledge is power, my friends.